In this video, we'll write a C++ program that finds the average of 4 numbers. First, I need to create a project. So I'll go to the solution, right-click, add a new project, and give the project a name. Let's call it average, AVE. I'll OK this. And also the application settings, make sure empty is selected. The average project is here. Let's also make sure that the average project is the active project. Right click on it and then select set as startup project. Under source files folder, click on it, add new item, and we'll have our source file right here. Let's call it average. Add. Now in the editor, as usual, we have # include IOStream, and using namespace std, and there's the main. Now remember, we want to write a program that receives 4 numbers from the user and finds the average of the 4 numbers and then displays it. At the beginning of the program, you need to do a bit of problem analysis. You need to figure out how many variables you're going to be needing and what kind of formula you're going to be using to figure out the average, let's say in this case, right? So as you go through the analysis, here we are going to read 4 numbers from the user. So I'm going to need 4 variables to store these numbers in. So I'm going to declare double, let's say n1 representing number 1, basically the storage place for number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Notice that those variables are separated by comma, not a semicolon. So that 4 numbers will be stored in n1 through n4. We also need a variable, let's make it a double, which holds decimal numbers. We need a variable to hold the value of the sum. Remember, in order to compute the average, we need to add up the numbers and then divide by the count of the numbers. So the sum will go there. And finally, I need to have a variable to hold the average. So there they are. These are the variables that I would need. Again, part of the analysis. Now, moving on to the next step, I need to basically prompt the user, right? So prompt the user to enter numbers, and then by numbers I mean double numbers. So cout enter 4 numbers, and then end line. Oops, I keep missing this less than. And then in order to read the 4 numbers, we use cin, and then we are going to read the numbers. The first one goes into n1, right? And then the next one goes to n2. The next number entered by the user goes into n3, and finally the last one goes into n4, semicolon. I can write this as cin, read the first number into n1, and then next line cin, read the next number in n2, and so forth. I can do it that way as well, but again, no need for it. This is pretty simple and easy. So we're going to read the 4 numbers. Once I have the numbers, then do the computation. Right, to do computing, the first thing I need to figure out is the sum. I use an assignment statement here, right? Sum is equal to, now I have valid input into in variables n1 through n4, so I'm going to add them up. n1 plus n2 plus n3 plus n4. That's the addition, semicolon. So I have the sum. Now the average variable, again another assignment statement, average will be equal to the sum that I have divided by the count of the inputs. In this case I have 4 inputs, so 4. right? So sum divided by 4, that will be the average. So I have everything. Now I will display the result, right? So I will have Cout the average. Let's say I'm going to write the average of, and then put the numbers. Now this may be a bit lengthy. N1, right? And then space, comma, N2, right? And then same way, basically, space, comma, N3, another one, space, comma, N4, and space is another space. What is the average? The average is equal to AVE, and then end line with the correction there. And don't forget the return 0. And this is the program. It's valid. We are going to compile it and run it. Let me make sure that this line is completely shown. And you can, by the way, you can break these as well, meaning that I can go, in case you can't fit the whole line in there, I can break it right in there, right in there, and go to the next line. It will work perfectly fine. This would be okay. So everything fits in there. Okay, so we are all set with this. We need a semicolon right here, right after the 0 in return, and everything should be fine. We are ready to run this. We'll go to debug and start building the program. And now I have the console. Now enter 4 numbers. Let's say I'm going to enter 4, and then the numbers should be separated by space. 4, 8, 2.4, let's say, and then the last one, let's say 8.1. These are the 4 numbers. Now once the 4 numbers are entered, separated by space, hit the enter key, and then comes the output. The average of 4, 8, 2.4, 8.1 is 5.625. I think in terms of writing, the way I constructed the output doesn't look that good. So let me clean that up, and then we'll run it one more time. So this really, the comma, no space. So it's quotation, comma, and let me remove this space as well and add this space to the right of the comma. That's the right way. So I think I've taken care of everything here. We'll run it one more time. You can also enter your data one at a time. 5, let's say 18, 8.4, let's say, and 9.3. You can enter your data that way as well. Either they need to be separated by space, or they need to be separated by the enter key or carriage return. So we'll run it. Here is the average of those 4 numbers.